Something broke the boss, I flipped the script. Super Trucker Podcast got me fully equipped. Left the noise behind, now I'm stacking green. Voyager Nation made me live the dream.
Tracking safety theater, the current climate, current emotions, current news cycles. What's up with that?
So that's what we're going to actually dive into, because safety is preached and not practiced. All right, guys, here we go. We're talking about untouchable drivers. How are they created? How do they get a platform to actually exist? And what the hell can we do about this? And so here we go, guys. It is go time. So, drivers commit repeat violations, but keep rolling because it's just a warning. Now, especially on the recruiting side of things, we see this all the time where guys are applying, then they're rejected due to the PSP, and they see warning. As a matter of fact, just earlier this week, we actually got a violation. I don't know from what state it was, but it had a $0 tied to it, and it was a warning. So we actually got this love letter from the state that one of the drivers, it was something with a windshield washer blade, I believe. Mm-hmm. So now it's in the eyes of the owner operator, he starts to become invincible and untouchable because he actually thinks he fooled someone because there's a $0 to it. Mm-hmm. So nothing happened. And I think that's a very small example of what actually plagues this industry across the board, because we're not just talking about that little type of warning. We're talking about false logs, PC abuse. We're talking about English proficiency. And that's even, all of these issues just getting shrugged off because, if you guys don't watch our 9 a.m. show, we have that. So make sure you pay attention. But we talk specifically about an owner operator who's looking to come here. He actually has an out of service for the English proficiency. But at the time of it happening, he in his mind thinks it's a warning because of what actually happened. The process allowed him to drive away. So as the process of the DOT or whatever they're doing, he gets to drive away. Nothing is real. Nobody got hurt, even though he was let go from his current carrier. But in his mind, he's just downgrading that experience. So to him, it's just hearsay. In his mind, he's untouchable.
Yes, and I can only it's a shit show if you ask me. I can only say one thing. Number one, always follow the rules and run legally. That's number one thing, right? So let's just say, as a matter of fact, when I got my CDL 25 years ago, I remember there was a rule back then already that the driver must speak, read, and communicate in English to even qualify for a CDL. So that was already part of the rules. So I never really paid attention to this. I've seen a few out of services from my time in safety, in Wyoming, would sometimes put the driver out of service for not, I guess, speaking English or whatnot. But that was just a kind of also strange thing, because that puts it out of service, but the driver license is still valid. The driver didn't start to speak English overnight.
He got to drive away.
So for the most part, that same driver is still sort of qualified to work probably for the same carrier or any carrier. And his CDL is still good. He can pretty much drive all he wants. And then, I guess, even in Wyoming, even if he's driving for Wyoming again, and that's a different DOT officer, and it's probably going to be treated differently, or he may be put out of service again, but with no consistency. And right now, with all this show going on, right, how we sing in that song, the show must go on. So right now, the biggest confusion is those same scenarios, even though that's a news cycle, it's everywhere, everybody's talking about it. But right now, that driver which you just discussed, my question is his CDL still valid?
Yes.
So now that creates a total BS, because now even somebody who worked in safety for a long time, I don't even know how do you process that?
So I think this hyper focus right now because of the climate that's outside, right? I've been around. I've been in this business a long time. I've worked for big mega carriers, medium size, and you know everything in between. So I've been around. It was actually, man, not too long ago. It's probably harder to find that company that would say no to a guy who doesn't speak English. It was just common practice already. That wasn't a deal breaker for a lot of fucking people. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah, of course.
Even though the rule has been around for a long time, it was almost like an intelligence test, right? For you to really kind of get that violation, it was probably something for real, like very serious that was going down, maybe a hazmat load or something crazy. Or you were just acting a fool in front of the DOT guy and he's just going to let you up. So it was probably one or the other. But you know, kind of going this, I really don't think that the DOT, they don't do a good enough job when the guy is there in front of them to really explain the consequences of what happens next. I almost feel like here's the violation, you and your carrier figure it out, and the punishment that's going to the carrier that holds the bag, that's holding the burden, that's holding the responsibility, it's almost like now in time and in paper trail, is it that this guy is going to be unmarketable? So in time through reporting, but then again, like, do all the carriers have the discipline? You got a lot of chameleon carriers. You got a lot of people who understand it's a numbers game and they're just going to put whoever on the road. So it's a combination of that too, because not all us carriers are exactly the same as well. So,
yes, but let's just say, so for example, I know what would we do. But as far as like, and I know what the consequences are going to be for the carrier that's not going to do the same thing that we would do here.
Right.
But it's not in the paper. It's not official. There is literally no clean-cut guidance, I would say. So everything is, like, at the end of the day, the only party that's actually going to get their teeth kicked in is the carrier. So to the driver, imagine if you're that driver, right? Obviously, if you're watching this show, you probably speak enough English. Because that's the only language that we use here on the show. But if you're that driver that got put out of service for not speaking English, your CDL is not getting suspended. Sometimes you may not even get a ticket, you just get a warning. Right. And like I've seen already a few videos, because right now it's the hottest topic in trucking community. Some people, you know, have fun, other people have hate, like different people, different reasons, right? But pay attention to the DOT officers or the officers' actions, language, and what message are we communicating to the driver in those videos. My biggest challenge is this. We're gonna like brutally take care of the carrier if the carrier doesn't solve that problem. The warning itself is brutal to the carrier, because technically it's not just like, oh, it's just a warning. No. What it really means and where it lands in the like point-wise, you have a unqualified driver driving your semi-truck.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's one of the freaking, not the worst, but like that's some bad stuff for a carrier to have and deal with during the audit. So let's say the driver's CDL didn't get suspended. Let's say the driver is a cool dude. Now, let's say the carrier decides to keep the driver because his CDL is still good. He only got popped like at the scale, right? Obviously, the carrier probably had a truck towed away and all that cost incurred. But that's a lot of times not going to affect the driver because he's just the driver. And now, so some carrier is going to keep the driver. But then if the audit comes and you kept the driver that got that no big deal violation for or a warning for English proficiency, you're probably going to be put out. It's going to be lights out for you. And now, if I'm watching those videos and the DOT officer literally, because it's just human behavior, probably path of least resistance. He's not telling you like, yo, muchacho, that's it, finito. None of that is happening. What the officer does is like, it's okay, man, it's just a warning, okay? Just sign here, it's a warning.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, guys, that's the problem. Carriers cannot discipline that type of behavior or discipline if it's not, from the DOT standpoint being, officially penalized. And that means that suspension. And it's not that complicated to do. We got a guy right now, failed to update his medical card on time. Guess what happened? He got downgraded. So it's possible. System-wise, logistically, we can make that happen as they can make this happen. But we don't, right? Because trucking is in the gray. Who's to blame? This is how we get untouchable drivers, and how do we actually fix this? So join us on the next show. That is what we're going to be talking about. Who should be taking the first step towards resolution?
And also, let us know. What do you think should happen? How the process should work? And what should be done in that situation? Because just staying in the grain and the unknown is not helping anyone to actually solve the real problems and to achieve real safety, not just talking safety.
Here we go, guys. We'll see you soon.
Take care.
Operators looking for the best business owner opportunity, look no further. I got all the programs that are going to make you successful. Everything to operating from 2 different fuel cards, top of the line trailers with a maintenance program that is unbeatable, to plates, insurance, you name it, we got it. All you got to do is give us a call, 863-342-5171. Learn more and get started.